If you want to become a serious tea drinker, you're going to have to learn how to use one of these. What's up everybody, Eric here from Tea and Tobacco, and today I'm going to teach you how to use a Gaiwan. So one of the advantages about using a Gaiwan is that you can go through multiple steepings in a short succession, so you can fully experience the tea and the journey that one tea can take you on through very early infusions until the later infusions. You know, similar to cigars and tobacco where it can change as the smoking experience goes, the same goes with tea. After each steeping, you can get a slightly different flavor profile and experience. So that's one reason why you want to use a Gaiwan. So it's actually a very easy tool to use, and we'll get to it and I'll show you how to use it. So there's a few things you're going to want to have. One is a tea tray, and while it's not required, it definitely is recommended because it can get a little messy and you are going to be pouring off some excess water. You're going to want to have your Gaiwan, which I'll talk about in a minute. Pretty much all sets come with a little filter, a sharing pitcher, and then they'll come with small cups, but since I'm by myself today, I have a much larger cup that can pretty much take the entire amount of the Gaiwan. Most sets come with much smaller cups for multiple people. And then last is a digital scale, because you want to be consistent from session to session. And depending on the type of tea, some are very fluffy and some are very compact. So going by volume is very difficult to get a consistent weight for your tea. So going back to the Gaiwan here, this is a 120 milliliter Gaiwan. I find this is a good size for 1 to 2 people. This is the size I use by myself every day. Another thing you want to look for is look for a lid that has this nice indentation in the handle, and because it's so nice and flared, it stays cool to the touch. So you don't burn yourself on it. There are some Gaiwans that have a solid piece all the way up and they can get really hot and burn your finger. And there are some glass ones that it's actually hollow and the tea can actually go right up into it and again burn your fingers, which is no fun. One of the reasons that the walls of the Gaiwan are usually pretty thin is because you're going to be gripping it with your middle finger and thumb right on the edge here, and the thinner material helps this top rim stay cold, and that's why it's nice and flared as well. So that's something to look for when you are finding a Gaiwan. Another thing that some people look for that I don't really care about is being able to balance the lid off on the plate underneath. I don't really care about that, but most of them are able to do that. And there are some that just get in there and they kind of tip up the Gaiwan just because of the weighting issue and just how they're constructed, but it's not a huge issue to me. So today I have 5 grams of a twisted oolong in here, and really the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to rinse the leaves. So it's pretty simple, just pour in the water and then you're going to want to pour it off. So how to use this is when you set the lid in, you're going to want to set it at an angle, and basically I get to the point where it can actually tip by itself, and then you can kind of control how wide you want this opening. And for the rinse, you're definitely going to want to go for a wider opening. Also, when you're pouring, you want to make sure you don't overfill the Gaiwan, because what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to grab it with your middle finger and your thumb and then put your index finger up here on the top of the lid so you can control how much opening you get. And then you just pick that up and pour off into the sharing cup. That's going to basically remove any dust or any small particles, which in this case, for this particular oolong, there's not a lot. There's just a little bit of dust that got caught in that filter there. And you can pour this over into your regular cup to warm that cup up and you are good to go. So one thing to speak of, as when I was telling you, if you overfill and fill the water too high, what you're going to want to do, because if you leave the water overflowed like this, it's going to be very hot when you pick it up. So all you really have to do is just grab the top and you can tip it over and remove some of the excess water. So you can lower the water line a little bit if you need to. So then again, right here, Once you are done with your tea and it's ready to be poured off, pick it up, middle finger, thumb, and index finger, and then you can control the lid with your index finger. Then you just want to do a straight pour off. What you don't want to do, you don't want to turn the Gaiwan too far. You want to do a straight pour right away from your hand. That way no liquid comes out the sides and you end up burning your fingers, which is no fun. So this I'm going to drink, this I'm going to throw away because that has all the kind of dust and other small bits that have been removed from the brewing. And then if you have more than one person, then you can share from this cup, and everybody will have the same strength of brewing. And that's how easy it is to brew the Gaiwan. It's a very simple process and anybody can do it. And really, I think it's almost a necessity to be able to brew this way, Kung Fu style, with either a Gaiwan or a small teapot, to experience the full range of loose leaf teas so you can enjoy the early infusions through the later infusions and explore that full flavor profile that a specific tea can give you. So that's it. I'm just going to leave it there today. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I have also started up a Discord that will be in the description below, and I will see you next time on Tea and Tobacco. See you guys.